What's up, you amateurs? Welcome to the second episode of Europa Lookout, the show that dives deep into the HCS European scene. In today's episode, we'll be talking about HCS Charlotte and how the European teams fought during the event, and taking a look into what's coming next for Halo. Let's get started. Before the event, a lot happened. Team Wreckers, Glory GG, Respectful, Mose, Flux, and Coach Chronosaur are now Awobabobs. I think that's how it's pronounced. And Flying Dutchman, Milzy, Clonely, Mista, and Sayir, Coach Oli J, are now Red Wolves. As I said in the previous episode, JLINGZ also went to Charlotte despite not being able to qualify. We love to see that. A chick from Quadrant wasn't able to make it. He said on Twitter, "I waited until the last minute to talk about it, but it was almost impossible for me to compete in Charlotte. My passport was stolen and other stuff at the gas station while I was moving to the south of France last week. I did everything to get a new one in time, but I have only tomorrow morning as a deadline to receive it. Last hope. Fortunately, my team found a solution to replace me in case I can't come." What a beautiful time. And then he added, "No Charlotte for me. Good luck, everyone." Since the passport was stolen, this fell under the emergency rule of HCS, and Quadrant ended up with the last minute sub to Foxy. Let's take a look at what the team said.
Hi guys, Connor here, acting team manager for the Quadrant Halo team. We're here in Charlotte, North Carolina for the HCS Charlotte Major Kickoff. Unfortunately, we're only here with 3 players and a coach as it stands. As some of you may know, Sebastian, also known as Chick, has been unable to get here. He's had his passport stolen, and despite the best efforts from Quadrant, Seb himself, and the French Bureau, we've been unable to get an emergency passport in time. This is obviously a massive blow for the team. That being said, we're still here to compete, we're still here to put on a show, and we're currently in the process of bringing over ex-NAVI player to Foxy to be our 4th man. So we've got 24 hours ahead of us, we've got the media day tomorrow, 24 hours to get 2 Foxy up to speed with what we're all about, and then bring on the weekend.
Now looking at some Halo news, we have a new season, Echoes Within, dropping in today at 7 PM UK time. These include 3 brand new maps: Chasm, a arena map, a Cliffhanger, another arena map, and Oasis, a BTB map. We also have a new weapon, Bandit Rifle, a single shot weapon similar to the DMR, I don't know why they didn't bring the DMR back, but okay. And new equipment, Shroud Screen, a mix between the bubble shield from Halo 3 and a smoke grenade. We'll see how this impacts competitive play. And as a wise Portuguese man once said, let's look at the trailer.
Why here?
Because you refuse to see. Double kill, triple kill, overkill, kill-tacular, kill trust, Kilimanjaro.
Death for you. In triumph for me!
In other news, we also have some new skins for the partner teams. This pack brings in the Mirage armor coating, sniper coating, nameplate plus emblem, and a visor. Let's take a look at the team trailer. Make sure you support the EU teams by buying their new pack. We also have an update on the rank playlist where players will match according to their CSR and not their hidden MMR, Tashi said on Twitter. And in terms of balances updates, we have the commander now taking 9 bullets to kill instead of 8, and a plasma pistol with an increase in charge time and targeting properties adjusted. Now, let's talk about Charlotte itself. Let's first talk about the event itself, format, and the stream, because oh boy, I have a lot to say. So the first thing that comes to mind is the format. We continue to have an open bracket, which is very cool. I think it's a huge benefit for the community and brings out the passion for many Halo competitors, even if they're not making money. I know I love playing Valencia, only if there was more. Yeah. But anyways, the format was double elimination bracket, which is something I'm thankful because we never know with 343, so make sure you guys are grateful. And all matches were best of 3 except qualifying matches, which was best of 5. Top 2 from the winners bracket advanced to pool play, pool C and D, and top 2 from the losers bracket advanced to pool A and pool B. So this means that top 4 advance, not the top 8? Like, my question is why? Why the change in the format? I don't understand. I mean, I can understand because HCS doesn't have the same budget as year 1. This change also impacted pools. Previously, all teams from pools advanced through winners or losers. But now, top 2 advance to winners bracket, and the third advance to losers bracket, and the fourth gets eliminated. Why? Why are we making changes to the format which impact the community? Why are we taking a step backwards and not forwards? In my opinion, this is the worst format than last year's. It's not the format that is invalid, because you could argue that having the top 4 teams advance to pools is decent because they're expected to lose, since they came from open bracket. This format also creates high stakes in pool play, because now teams can be eliminated in pool play, which in itself can create really cool matches. Teams will go to the extra mile, knowing their life on the tournament is on the line. But now, these are the problems. Number 1, what happens when a tie occurs in pool play? Which happened, by the way, in pool A, but we'll get there. The point is, does this mean that the team that lost the tiebreaker is worse than the teams on the same pool? What about the other teams in the other pools? If they moved to losers bracket like in previous events, these teams had to prove their worth in losers bracket, which will determine their value way better than just being eliminated. But then, the second problem is, why aren't these matches being broadcasted? Why? If you want to create value on pool play by eliminating the worst team in the pool and make the matches high stakes, why the fuck wouldn't you stream it? It makes 0 sense, but it gets worse. They had the layouts and everything for these matches, and yet we have to rely on partner streams to stream from their phones. Look at the Rash tweets. Now Ogre won. Quadrant winning 2-1 against Cloud9 and no stream, as Shay said. A fucking Slayer ended in a tie, 50-50, SSG versus Native. Oh, this meme just perfect. And Crazy Miller again asking why not stream on HCS Blue or Red like previous events. Yeah, Crazy Miller. Yeah. Why not? This is insane and so unbelievably stupid. If you guys want to continue with this format, make sure you stream the matches. If you want to create high stakes scenario, these matches must be streamed because people want to see them. Again, 2 steps forward, 10 steps backwards. I think Jimbo sums it up best. Just seems so backwards restricting the amount of teams that make pools, making the open tourneys so stacked, then no streaming anything related to it. Whole schedule for events needs to be changed. And I 100% agreed. Okay, now let's move along to open bracket and see how the boys showed up. All of the stats are according to Liquipedia, link in the description, but let's start with JLINGZ, Morga, Septic, Burton, Quadius, and Coach Baxter. So winners bracket round 1 was a bye. Winners round 2, they played against Nerdy Esports and won 2-0. No stats for this one. And moving on to winners round 3, they played against 4 Horsemen, Invicted, Victim, Newbie Blue, Promo, and Coach Whiskers, which was a clean 2-0. Livefire King of the Hill 4-0 and Slayer Streets 50-34. Winners round 4, they matched against Complexity, Cycle, Jozero, Suppress, Tusk, and Coach Mikron, which ended up 2-1. Complexity ended up qualifying to pools from upper bracket, so the boys made you proud, pushing them to a map 3. In fact, they won the first map, Oddball Recharge, 166 to 129, very close game, but it seems that they ran out of gas and lost Empyrean Slayer 50 to 34, and CDF Argyle 3-0, but nevertheless, congrats on taking a map off Complexity. Moving on to losers round 6, they played against Surpassing Limits, Suheven, Caden Desperi, Kruvu and Glowzy, and won 2-0. Losers round 7, now playing in best of 5, they matched against Milky and Honey, Dakota NY, Tricky, Yakzam and Gran, and won 3-1. Lost the first map, Recharge Strongholds 250 to 158. The team bounced back in map 2, Slayer Streets 50 to 33. Map 3, Livefire Oddball won 2-0, easy win, and Aquarius CTF was a grueler, but they took care of business by winning 4-3. They end up their losers run in losers round 8 against Leftovers, King J, Piggy, Huss, and Straight Sick. However, this was almost an upset, I reckon. JLINGZ managed to push to a game 5, almost causing a reverse sweep. They lost King of the Hill Livefire 4-1 and Empyrean Slayer 50 to 46, a very close game. But it gets even closer when JLINGZ won 250 to 240 in Street Strongholds. Then Recharge Oddball, they won both rounds, but the team couldn't close it out in game 5. Livefire Slayer ended up losing 50 to 36. But congratulations anyways, you guys made you proud. According to my boy Gas on Twitter, apparently they were having tech issues against Complexity and went to the signing map in both games. Yes, a little disappointing, we want to see these guys do better, but they should be proud taking these caliber teams to a deciding map. JLINGZ ended up placing top 16 on the open bracket and top 36 overall. If it's not top 36, like top 32 or top 30. Looking at the Red Wolves, Milzy, Sayer, Clonely, and Mista, coach Oli J, they also had a bye in winners round 1. Winners round 2, they won 2-0 against Reaper, and winners round 3, also 2-0 against Nocturnal, Enzoom, Mati, Palfius, Foracticus, and coach Anxiety, winning King of the Hill, Livefire 4-1, and Slayer Streets 50 to 41. Winners round 3 was a crazy upset. They beat Proton Gaming in game 3. Posey, Common, Breaking Shot, Haynes, and coach Jagged clowned. These guys ended up placing top 12 overall. That match was probably really cool to watch. They lost the first map, Recharge Oddball 2-0, but bounced back in the second map, Empyrean Slayer winning 50 to 45. And finally closing out the reverse sweep in CDF Argyle 2-1. Insane, guys. Red Wolves was the only EU squad that pushed through winners round 4. In winners round 4, they faced against the Mexican Six Karma, Acid, Sepstars, Lior, Strikey, and coach Sobrio. The Mexican powerhouse was able to defeat the European squad. The first map, Six Karma rolled through Red Wolves, winning 4-0 in King of the Hill Recharge, but the rest of the maps was not that easy. The European squad put up a fierce fight in Aquarian Slayer, but ended up losing 48 to 50. And for the third and final map, they lost again in Stronghold Livefire 243 to 250. Really close matches, but they couldn't win any of those, dropping to losers round 8. In losers round 8, they matched against Awobabobs, Glory GG, Respectful Moes, and Flux. During the online qualifiers, their record is 1-1. Red Wolves winning a best of 3, 2-1, and Awobabobs beating them in a best of 5, 3-2. These matches went in the distance, however, on land the story is different. Red Wolves ended up losing 3-1, a blowout. Map 1, they lost 4-0 in King of the Hill Livefire. Map 2, they won 50 to 44, Slayer Empyrean. But map 3, they lost 250 to 188 in Street Strongholds. And the final map, Recharge Oddball 2-1. The lads end up placing top 16 in open bracket and top 36 overall alongside JLINGZ. Moving on to the last open bracket EU team, Awobabobs, again, Glory GG, Respectful, Flux, Moes, and coach Chronozer, and I had high hopes they could qualify to pool, but unfortunately that didn't happen, simply because the format changed. Nevertheless, let's take a deep dive on how the boys performed. Winners round 1, again, a bye. In winners round 2, they beat Armageddon 2-0, no stats for this match. Winners round 3, they beat Caffeine Dreams, Morgan, FPS, Equivocally, and Bejesus. 2-0, Map 1 King of the Hill Livefire 4-2, and Map 2 Street Slayer 50-32, almost staking them. Yet the team falls on winners round 4 in a game 3 against Rogue, and for Avenue, Arctic and Tony. This was a grueler of a match. It could have gone either way and should have been a great series to watch. Rogue takes Map 1, recharge audible 2-1, but the European team bounced back in Map 2, winning 50-48 in Slayer Empyrean, a crazy close Slayer and pushing a Map 3. And Map 3 was no different, but Rogue was able to close it out, winning 3-2 CDF on Argyle. Again, really close matches against a really good team. Had Awobabobs won, and assuming they would lose the following match, they would be playing Proto Gaming Losers Round 8, a team that Red Wolves previously beat, so most likely they would beat them as well. Then they would be playing Leftovers, a team JLINGZ took to a Map 5. Again, Awobabobs could also beat him, and finally they had to win against 6 Karma to qualify to pools, but I'm confident they would close it out. Essentially, they had to win against Rogue, and winning every losers match, they would switch positions with Proto Gaming and could possibly qualify in pools as well. This was a decider for the team, and unfortunately the squad couldn't close it out. In losers round 6, the team faced against Team Meta, the GOAT himself Kratos, the H4 champion Ace, Command Station and Lekar. This matchup was probably way closer than the boys would have wanted, as Team Meta take Map 1 Oddball Streets 2-1, but they won Imperial Slayer 50-43 and a dominant Argyle CDF 4-0, completing the reverse sweep. In losers round 7, they destroyed Zero Latency, Aish, Willy, GameXy, Juxer in Map 1 Recharge Strongholds 250-192, Street Slayers 50-45, and Livefire Oddball 2-0. Slayers are always weird, but the team stayed composed and won 3-0 clean sweep. Losers round 8 against Red Wolves. Again, online it's usually a close series, but on land the story was different and Awobabobs takes the win 3-1. And finally, losers round 9, the European squad runs out of gas, losing 3-0 against Native Gaming Red, Diagram, Tolak, Manny and Soulsnipe. A really good roster. Nevertheless, the boys didn't go down without a fight, losing Map 1, CDF Argyle 2-1, Map 2, 50-41 Recharge Layer, and King of the Hill Streets 4-2. A valiant effort, but not good enough. In the end, the boys placed top 8 in open bracket. In previous majors, they would have qualified to Champions bracket, but oh well. And top 24 overall. Again, I think it might be top 24 or top 20. I'm not that sure. Moving on to pool play, we had NAVI, Snaky, Mighties, Snipe Drone, Jimbo, and Coach Wonderboy in Pool A. They had to play against Face Clan, Renegade, Frosty Royal 2 in Snakebite, that placed top 2 in Charlotte, and Shopify Rebellion, Mental, Karmia, Rain, and Ryanoob, and of course Proton Gaming that qualified through open bracket, which lost to Red Wolves. First map against FaZe, you would think they got smoked, but actually Navi was able to put a good effort and even taking a map. They ended up losing 3-1. Map 1, they actually won Livefire King of the Hill 3-1, an impressive result out of the boys in yellow. Street Slayer was a close match, but they lost 50-44, and Map 3, Imperial CDF, they lost 3-2. However, Navi ran out of gas in Map 4 and couldn't push a map on the number 2 team and ended up losing 250-141 Strongholds Recharge. The second match against Shopify Rebellion, they lost 3-0, Recharge Oddball 2-1, but the match was very close. It came down to the last seconds. And in fact, Navi had more ball time overall with a 213 against 206. Second map, Livefire Slayer, Navi was completely outslayed, losing 50-33, and for the final map, they ended up losing King of the Hill Streets 2-1. Another really close match. Even though Shopify Rebellion won 3-0, the story might have been a little bit different. For the final match, Navi faced Proto Gaming, which they won 3-1. First map, Argyle CDF, they got destroyed by Proto Gaming, lost 3-0, but it seems that one of the members had tech issues and was playing on 60 FPS according to Z-Mighties. But Navi bounced back in the Slayer, winning on Imperium 50-44. They smoked them on map 3, Strongholds Livefire 250-184, and were able to close it out 2-1 in Streets Oddball. But unfortunately to Navi, Proto Gaming caused a huge upset onto Shopify Rebellion and won 3-1. This caused a 3-way tie between Shopify Rebellion, Proto Gaming, and Navi, each team with a record 1-2. Now, according to Wonderboy, it comes down to head-to-head between Thai teams. NAVI had a record of maps 3-4, Shopify Rebellion 4-3, and Proton 4-3. This puts NAVI in last, causing an elimination. There could have been 3 ways NAVI qualified. Had NAVI won 3-0 against Proton, they would have qualified, but since they had tech issues, they couldn't close it out on the first map. Or if Proton had lost to Shopify, they would also qualify. Or even if NAVI would take a map of Shopify, would put their map record 4-3, and I think it goes to another tiebreaker between map record, and since NAVI took a map out of phase, they could have qualified. Either way, since the format changed, they got eliminated. But I'm excited to see NAVI in the future. I do think they still have a lot of potential with Snipe Throne on the team. We'll have to wait and see. As the coach Wonderboy says, GG's fun tourney, praise to whoever plays on feature 2, rest of the tournament. And finally, for the last European team, looking at the boys in bright green Quadrant, Legend, Sika, SLG, and 2Foxy as a substitute, and of course coach EU Tyler. Their pool was also cracked, having to play against Optic, Lucid, Formal, APG, and Trippy, and Sentinels, King Nick, Spartan, Lethal, and Collect. And of course Cloud9, Nemesis, Squally, Triton, and Remy that came from losers open bracket. First match against Sentinels, and what a crazy series. I thought they had a good chance beating Sentinels, but since Chick couldn't end and 2Foxy being a last minute sub, it was insane that they were able to push Sentinels to a map 5. They end up losing map 1, Recharge Audible 2-1, a close map. They bounce back in a very close game and icing up, winning Livefire Slayer 50-49. Map 3, King of the Hill Streets, they won 2-1, again a very back and forth game. And map 3, they got destroyed in CDF Aquarius, losing 4-1, and map 5 almost getting stake in Empyrean Slayer 50-31. Before we move to the second match, let's take a look at this. What the actual fuck, HCS? Like, can't you read basic stats? Anyways, moving on to second match against Optic, and boy, this was a definitely cool match to spectate. Back and forth and back and forth. Optic won the first map, Livefire King of the Hill 4-2, in a very close match. Quadrant bounced back, winning Slay Streets 50-48. Optic took map 3, CDF Empyrean 4-1. In map 4, Quadrant made Optic their fucking bitch by destroying them 250-60. Insane map out of the boys in Recharge Strongholds. Pushing them to a map 5, Aquarius Slayer, which unfortunately Optic took care of business 50-40. Quadrant proving how good they are even with the sub. Insane series out of the French boys and 2Foxy. The final match of pools against Cloud9, which they won 3-1, qualifying for championship bracket. Won the first map CDF Argyle 2-1, losing the Empyrean Slayer in a very close match 50-48, but taking care of business in the rest of the series, winning Strongholds Livefire 250-224 and Streets Oddball 2-0. Moving to championship bracket, Quadrant had to play Complexity, Cycle, Jazero, Suppressed, Tusk, and Coach Mikran, which JLINGZ took a map from earlier in the event in open bracket. Since they were really on top performance against Optic and Sentinels, we would think they would take on Complexity. However, it seemed the boys were having a bad day and Complexity won 3-0. First map, they lost Livefire King of the Hill 4-0, Recharge Slayer lost 50-44, and the final map, CDF Aquarius 2-0. That's very unfortunate how it ended, but I'm sure we'll see Quadrant bounce back in the future majors and show how dominant they can be. If they took Sentinels and Optic to map 5 with a sub, imagine what they could do with Chick. Or maybe I'm just daydreaming. Let me know what you guys think. Now, closing out the event, we have Glory GGs, the Irish prodigy from Awobabobs, winning the free-for-all tournament, taking home $2,000 and making EU proud, which is more money than any player from Quadrant made. The Irish gentleman proved his worth in the final against Envor, Clay, Goober, Dirtdurf, Persecute, Dog7, and Command Station. He won with almost a 10-kill lead with 55 kills. Congratulations. Glory keeps on getting better and better, and I'm very excited to see what Awobabobs have in store. As a matter of fact, Starting with the new roster update, Respectful got dropped from the team and got replaced by Sair from Red Wolves. We have to wait and see how the Wolves are going to adapt, perhaps picking up Respectful and making a direct switch. However, will we see 2Foxy coming back? There are really top players that aren't playing and not part of a team, like WD Chad, Nurix, Fragger, 2Foxy, etc. And now that Respectful has been dropped, we can see another potential team forming with these players. Will they come back? I don't think so, as the state of Halo keeps decreasing. In other roster news, VH3 announced their new roster, which consists of Yumi, Bastos, Brainiac, and Sunrise. This roster played on the Sunday qualifier with a different team name, WKey. It's cool to see that they are under a org now. They placed top 16 in that tournament, but I think they have the potential to break top 12. We'll have to wait and see. In terms of free agents, the only tweet I saw was from McArbiter. He's looking to play the HCS tournaments with a different team from the Project Stadium, so make sure you hit him up. Looking at the next events and tournaments, we'll be having the HCS series every Sunday in March, and in April, the Quadrant Online Open Series. We also have two LANs announced. Halo Italia announced a 4v4 tournament in 25-26 of March, link in the description, and Gamers Assembly in France with a 1,000 prize pool in April, I think. Europa Halo has also announced their roadmap moving into spring. Let's take a look. So yeah, Spring Series coming back in May, so very exciting things ahead, as well as the Double Down special in June, probably a 2v2 tourney. And Team Vuelta announced their free-for-all roadmap series as well. And obviously we still have the Project Stadium matches going on. So we might not have full support of the HCS, but we have a lot of support for the community, so make sure you guys play and share your love, because again, this is the only support we're getting. So yeah guys, that is everything I got you for today in the second episode of Europa Lookout. There was plenty I talked about and couldn't cover everything. I'm a little bit late to the party in the HCS Charlotte, but hopefully you guys end up enjoying what I had to say. If you want to take a look at the bracket yourself, links are in the description. Everything else was taken from Twitter. Make sure you guys follow Europa Halo Team Vuelta over on Twitter for more information on the next tournaments. I would also like to shout out Outcast. He's been doing his own show over on Twitch, making tier lists, breaking down teams, and etc. So make sure you go follow him. I'll be live later today playing Season 3, so drop by and say hi, link in the description. Anyways guys, it's been fun. Subscribe for more videos, leave a like if you end up enjoying, and remember, good luck and have fun. Telog!